From tiny mechanical puzzles to massive stone mysteries, the ancient world is full of inventions that even today's experts can't understand. These are the mysteries that history couldn't hide, and science still can't explain. Here are the top 10 ancient inventions that continue to puzzle the modern world. Hidden across ancient Roman sites from Britain to Hungary, a baffling object keeps puzzling archaeologists: Roman dodecahedra. These hollow pieces, shaped with 12 pentagonal faces and circular holes, date back to the 2nd-3rd century AD.
Hedron would have been very challenging for a metal artisan to make at the time. So it could have been an example of the skill of an artisan to show, like, look what I can do, because it was very complex and bronze was not cheap.
Several theories have been proposed. Some suggest they were candle holders, while others think they were tools for measuring distances. Some have also proposed that they were game pieces, or could have been used for knitting. However, there is no evidence to support any theory. The Roman dodecahedron remains a mystery without clear answers. It may have been held by a Roman soldier or treasured by a priest, but today, its true purpose is lost to time. One of history's most terrifying lost weapons wasn't a sword or a machine, it was a mystery in a bottle. Greek fire, developed by the Byzantine Empire, was a powerful liquid weapon that could be sprayed from ships like a flamethrower, clinging to targets and burning even on water. What made it so feared? It was nearly impossible to extinguish. Water only made it worse. Soldiers had to use sand or vinegar to put it out. The formula was a guarded secret, known only to the emperor and the Kallinikos family. When the empire fell, the recipe disappeared.
Greek fire, this was a further refinement of these prior compositions, though it was to prove by far the most effective. The invention of Greek fire is typically attributed to one Kallinikos of Heliopolis, a Greek Jewish architect who fled to Constantinople in 672 following the Arab invasion of Phoenice in modern-day Syria. According to legends, Kallinikos tinkered for years to produce an effective incendiary weapon, which he then presented to the Byzantine Emperor Constantine IV. Constantine proclaimed Greek fire a gift from God, which was, quote, shown and revealed by an angel to the great and holy first Christian Emperor Constantine. The angel bound him not to prepare this fire, but for Christians, and only.
Modern scientists believed it included crude oil, quicklime, sulfur, or resin. Some versions were sprayed through bronze pumps, others were thrown in ceramic bombs. Despite many attempts, no one has fully recreated it. It helped save Constantinople, and today it remains a powerful symbol of lost military science. In the courtyard of an old mosque in Delhi stands a silent wonder, a 1,600-year-old iron pillar that has not rusted. At 23 feet tall and 6 tons heavy, this iron pillar from the Gupta Empire amazes scientists even today. Why hasn't it corroded? Ancient blacksmiths used a special method. The iron has high phosphorus, but low sulfur and manganese.
It was thought to have been hit by a cannonball in the 730s in an attempt to destroy it or knock it down to see if there was anything more valuable inside. There was only one hit from close range, and it's been posited that the cannons could have potentially caused too much damage to surrounding buildings at the time, so the pillar.
The pillar was made by forge welding hot iron discs, creating strong, pure iron with slag fibers. Despite harsh weather, it remains smooth. How it withstood rust for so long is now mostly understood, but reproducing such pure, large, wrought iron with the same results is difficult even with today's technology. For over 1,000 years, warriors across the Middle East carried swords unlike any other, made from the mysterious and powerful Damascus steel. These blades, famous for their swirling water-like patterns, were incredibly strong, flexible, and sharp enough to slice silk in midair or cut through lesser swords. Forged from Indian Wootz steel as early as 500 AD, swordsmiths in Syria and Persia refined the technique.
Okay, Wootz is the starting steel from which Damascus steel blades are made. A Damascus steel blade is almost always referring to a blade that has a surface pattern on it that is very attractive. There's another type of steel called Damascus steel, and a better name for that type of steel. It isn't what I would call a Wootz Damascus steel or a genuine Damascus steel. It's what has been called pattern welded Damascus steel. It has beautiful patterns on it, but it's made by an entirely different process.
However, by the 18th century, the process vanished. No records were left behind. Modern blacksmiths tried to recreate it, but couldn't fully match its properties. Scientists now believe the secret lay in trace elements in the original ore and a precise heating method. Today, Damascus steel stands as a lost technological marvel, centuries ahead of its time. In 1936, archaeologists near Baghdad unearthed a strange clay jar. Inside it were a copper cylinder and an iron rod. Known today as the Baghdad Battery, this object, dating back to 200 BC to 200 AD, can produce about 1 volt of electricity when filled with a mild acid-like vinegar. Was it an ancient battery?
Artifact itself, the discovery of the artifact is also something that kind of remains a little bit of a mystery. For example, some of the stories say that Koenig unearthed the battery during an excavation in 1936, whereas other stories say that he actually found it in the basement of the Iraqi Museum in 1938. We don't actually know. What we do know is that Koenig did publish a paper on it, something called a galvanic element from the Parthian period, ? And this is where he first puts forward his theory about what the artifact was and what it did. And of course, that actually brings up the question, what would possibly convince Koenig that this was a battery, an ancient Parthian battery? Well, one of the possibilities is that he might have noted that the artifact had 2 metals with different electropotentials. This, when combined together with an electrolyte, are the main components that are required to make a battery. And in support of this, there is evidence that a kind of ionic solution, an electrolyte, if you will, might have been present in the jar. When they ran tests on the corrosion of the item, this indicated that possibly it once contained something like vinegar or wine.
Some believe it was used for electroplating jewelry, yet no written records or other tools were found to support this. Others argue for storing scrolls, or had a ritual purpose. Despite tests showing it can work as a battery, we still don't know its real use. This mysterious artifact remains a puzzling piece of ancient history. High in the Andes above Cusco, Peru lies Sacsayhuaman, a 15th century Inca fortress that stuns visitors with its engineering. Its walls are made of giant stone blocks, some weighing over 100 tons, cut and placed so precisely that not even a sheet of paper fits between them. These stones, shaped like a puzzle, were fitted without mortar. The Incas had no iron tools, only bronze and stone, and yet the blocks show smooth faces and complex cuts that modern builders would find challenging. How they transported and lifted these massive stones up a steep hill remains unknown. Some suggest lost techniques, others point to sheer patience. Still standing after centuries and earthquakes, Sacsayhuaman remains a mystery and a marvel. On England's windswept Salisbury Plan stands Stonehenge, a mysterious circle of giant stones built around 2500 BC. How did prehistoric people move stones weighing up to 30 tons? Some from 20 miles away, and others from mountains over 150 miles distant in Wales without wheels or strong animals? This question has puzzled experts from centuries.
Cells, which have remained upright since they were erected by our Stone Age ancestors over 4,000 years ago. It's a place to come and think about the passing of time, how small and irrelevant our little lives are compared to the generations that these stones have seen. And then of course you just marvel at the construction. It all began around 3000 BC with the ditch and the mound out there, you can just see it there. And then at about 2500 BC they added these blue stones. Now what's amazing about these is that these heavy stones, each weighing more than a ton, were brought not from nearby, but from South Wales. They've identified the quarries in South Wales where these were from. And that was done in the Stone Age, with no wheels, no axles, no metal tools. The countryside would have been wooded, and they still don't really know how they achieved that.
Clues suggest the use of wooden sleds greased with pig fat or earthen ramps and levers to raise the stones. Still, no written records exist. Even its purpose remains uncertain. Aligned precisely with the summer solstice sunrise, Stonehenge continues to spur research and in equal measure imagination. The Great Pyramid of Giza remains one of history's greatest mysteries. Built over 4,500 years ago, it stood as the tallest man-made structure for millennia, standing 146 meters high and made of about 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing up to 80 tons.
When the tourists come here, inevitably they take a look at the Great Pyramid and they look up with awe. From an engineering point of view, when you come to a place like this, you look down because the clues of how they built the pyramid are written in stone on a scale of acres here.
No one knows how Egyptians move and stack such massive stones. Theories range from giant ramps to internal spirals, but none are proven. Even its perfect alignment to true North puzzles experts, with no detailed records left behind. The pyramid still baffles engineers and historians to this day. In Baalbek, Lebanon, once called Heliopolis in the Roman Empire, stands the Temple of Jupiter, built on 3 massive stone blocks, each weighing 800 to 1,000 tons. That's over 30 times heavier than a single Stonehenge pillar.
One of the oldest parts of Baalbek. Again, look at the size of the stones involved. And here we can even see the tool marks. To me, they look like machine marks rather than hand tool marks. So this is the epicenter of ancient Baalbek. And you see how closely the stones fit together, just a hairline crack. And now we're inside the Baalbek complex, even deeper, and I'm descending, and I'm going to walk on some stones that weigh approximately 800 tons apiece.
Even more incredible is that archaeologists discovered a nearby monolith weighing 1,650 tons, carved but never moved. Just like others, there is no information about how these were made or transported as well. With no records, experts are left guessing. Roman ingenuity, unknown tools, or pure manpower. Legends speak of giants and jinns, but the mystery remains unsolved. In 1901, sponge divers near the Greek island of Antikythera discovered a strange lump of corroded bronze from an ancient shipwreck. Hidden inside was something extraordinary, the world's first known analog computer, now called the Antikythera mechanism.
When we first looked at the results, it was astonishing. We've had to rethink the history of technology completely as a result of this single object. It's such a clever, extraordinary, sophisticated machine. Completely shocking for ancient.
When turned by hand, it could track the sun, moon, planets, eclipses, and even Olympic dates. Its complex design, with gear-on-gear movement and tiny teeth, stunned modern engineers. How did ancient Greeks build such a tool over 2,000 years ago? No workshop records survive, leaving this ancient mystery unsolved to this day. And that wraps up our look at ancient inventions that still puzzle scientists today. From a 2,000-year-old mechanical computer to iron that refuses to rust, each one reminds us how knowledge can be lost through time. If you enjoyed uncovering these ancient wonders, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you won't miss the next mystery.